What's up, Ragin Nation? My name is Alex and you're watching the Ragin Ronin review, and in this review I'm going to talk about Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods is a movie that I would most normally wouldn't watch, but it got some seriously good reviews at Rotten Tomatoes, 93%, which is pretty high, and a lot of people that I know who watched it also are giving it a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, near perfect movie. So I was really curious, and to top things off, it is directed by the writer of Cloverfield, Drew Goddard, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and also it is produced by Joss Whedon, and I think he's also the writer for it. So I'm curious to see how the director of The Avengers is going to contribute to this horror movie. So I was looking forward to it. But like I said before, horror movies and Cabin in the Woods is not a movie that I would normally watch just because I can't handle horror movies. I'm a real, chicken. I'm a chicken. The only time I watched horror movies is really when I bring home a date and then we share a blanket and then we put on the movie. But the thing is that it never really worked just because I got more scared than my date. My date, she's usually right beside me. Anyways, enough about that. So I wanted to watch it because I wanted to see what all the hype was all about, okay? I had some pretty high expectations. First of all, I haven't seen a horror movie in a long time, so I really tensed up right away. I had to put my jacket covering half my face just because I was freaking scared. And another thing is that, let me give you a little bit of backstory. I watched The Ring, the US remake version, in theaters. The very first scare gag they had, you know, like when there's an ugly face and then it goes loud and then just makes you scream. I literally screamed. I went, ah! I covered my mouth and started laughing for a good 10 minutes because I just realized I had screamed like that. Even louder in a theater filled with people. So I didn't do that, but I was anticipating that I might do that because I can't control my nerves. When the very first scary gag happened, I went, ugh, okay. But it was a little louder than that, and it went on for a little longer. And afterwards, I just started laughing just because I was and then the lady beside me said like, are you gonna be okay? And I had to tell her, I'll be fine, sorry. And she said, you're not going to be doing that the whole time, are you? So it's pretty embarrassing, but that's the way I am, right? So because of that, I had to cover my mouth like this and tightly and breathe out of my nose for a good half of the movie because I just didn't want to scream again. It's just too, it's embarrassing. Anyways, about the movie. Make no mistake about this movie, this is a teen slasher flick. Much like Scream and Halloween and Friday the 13th, it's a teen slasher flick. Don't get it twisted, okay? This is a movie that we've seen many times, but the story is completely different, okay? What I mean by that, it's a movie we've seen many times, is that the characters are all the same. It's a typical lineup of characters. You have the jock, you have the blonde, you have the nerd, the pothead, and the innocent girl, the good girl, right? Those are the characters in the movie. And just like every teen slasher flick, you're trying to figure out who's gonna get killed first. I was able to guess the first two people right away, no problem, okay? That was simple. It's kind of like Final Destination. The fun about it is just guessing who gets killed first and how he gets killed. But this one's actually same in only the sense that we want to find out like who actually gets killed first, but the story is totally different, okay? The story is one of the most engaging stories I've ever had in a movie theater experience. The whole time I was just guessing not only about who gets killed first, but why is this happening? You have two things going on. You have the cabin in the woods and you have this control room. The whole time I'm trying to figure out, how are these two things related to each other? Like, in the grand scheme of things, how are these two things related? Like, it seems pretty innocent at first, but it's not. It is very sinister, it's full of evil, and I want to know why this is happening. It's horrific. What really happens in this movie is a very horrific thing. It is definitely not a character-driven piece, just because there's no real character development in this movie, except for maybe near the end of the movie, but I would say that's more story development because they figure things out. I'd like to say that this movie is a very story-driven movie because the story is very engaging. From beginning to end, the producer and director of this movie make this movie something that you're engaged with because you're guessing why these terrible things are happening to these kids or these youths. That's why I was very engaged throughout this movie, and they effectively told a great story. And when I say it's a great story, I mean it is original and so unique, because I've never seen anything like this before, especially not in the teen slasher flick. Normally when I watch teen slasher flicks, and I don't normally watch teen slasher flicks, I was expecting something stupid, but these movies are meant to be fun. So it's okay if the reason why they're getting killed one by one is a stupid reason. The fun of it is watching all the gore and the gruesomeness, and just watching like a hot chick get decapitated, things like that. But they managed to put something so fantastic and so kind of like sci-fi in this teen slasher flick, so it doesn't make it a typical teen slasher flick, but it still falls in that genre. What I saw at the end was awesome. It was something that we've never seen before, and it kind of just restores my faith in the genre of horror. Just because these movies really are the same. Teen slasher flicks are all the same. It's just how they put a different story spin on it. And then horror is kind of taking just evolved. You get the new horror genre, which is like what they call torture porn. For example, Saw, Hostel, Human Centipede, and there's a bunch of other smaller ones, but I'm just saying that this is what horror has evolved into, and I'm glad that Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard were able to take this genre and bring it back to its roots, like the Friday the 13th Freddy kind of thing, except that they put their own fantastic spin on it, and it's quite brilliant. It's nothing like you will have ever seen before. When you see it happen, you're like, what the F? Like, this is twisted. The movie's just full of surprises. I will tell you this though, I was pretty scared near the first third to half of the movie, but my fear just went down near the end, just because, well, once they figured it all out, it's no longer scary. And to top things off, I was scared about who's really doing the killing. That was the scary part, because you're trying to figure out when are they going to kill again, and what are these things killing them. Once you've actually seen them, afterwards, the whole time you're trying to focus on the story, and the fear is no longer there. The anticipation about those things are no longer there. You're just trying to figure out why this is happening instead of what is killing them. And I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. I am not going to give it a 9 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10 like everybody else, just because unfortunately I created such high expectations for myself because of other people telling me that it's so freaking awesome. So because of that, I had actually even bigger expectations. I still give it an 8 out of 10 just because it is a brilliant story. It's got some great writing in it, and I was engaged. The most important thing is that it had a great story, and it did, and it was full of surprises, and I was thoroughly entertained, even though I was like this the whole time. There you have it. It was scary, but it got less scary near the end. Anyways, highly recommended, 8 out of 10. Check it out if you haven't already. I don't think I'll ever watch a scary movie ever again in the theaters or ever again. My name is Alex Yu. Thanks for watching this episode of the Ragin Ronin review. I'll see you next time. Peace. Just enough characterization, character development, just enough for you to care about the character. Okay, and that's really important.